crown of history's embrace. Captain's quarters sets the pace with Captain Mayhem at the helm. A voyage of knowledge, a story to round. Captain's quarters weekly delight, where history's treasures take flight. Led by Mayhem, Longwood, and Joe, they explore the past, row by row. Navigator Longwood charts the course, guiding listeners to knowledge.
Hi, welcome aboard. It is time for episode 163 of Captain's Quarters Podcast on November 25th. And as you can see, there is another ugly pirate face on here besides mine. And it's Jack Gonzo. He is the mastermind behind Pirate Radio and Scoundrel Inn. So he's our guest tonight. But we thought, hey, we need some pirates because we can't have Mandy on tonight. She has some personal things to take care of. She may be watching us in the background. So why not let Jack be on the show? So there you are. Welcome aboard, Jack.
Pleasure to be here.
All right. And we'll start talking about you and everything you bring to the pirate world in just a few minutes. But we got to let everybody know how to find us. Davey, that is YouTube, Captain's Quarters Podcast YouTube. Use that QR code and find out all about us. We would love to have you like us, follow us, and what's the other word? Subscribe. That's it, subscribe. I personally like the like part. I like it when people like me. I get upset when they don't. So like us, subscribe, and follow, and watch us every week, 8 p.m., Monday evening. My brain is still a bit fried from the work I've had to do all weekend. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So join us, people. We want you to be a part of our show. What else do we have, Davey? We have 8 bells. We always start our show with 8 bells. Sometimes it might be a little sad, but it is important to honor those that have passed on. Sponsored by the Riker family of reenactors. They do Spanish, they do British, they do colonial, they do pirate, and they do Ren. So they're always good people to have around when you're doing an event. How many bells do we have tonight, Davey?
6 regular ones and 3 filigree.
All right, very good. So let's do this. Let's do the regular ones. Pop them up there. Some of them, I think, many of us might know. Andrew Douglas Pele, an American songwriter, record producer, composer, and multi-instrumentalist who formed the Pele Brothers, a 1970s power pop duo. With his brother Jonathan Pele. Following their disbandment, Pele was a staff producer at Sire Records, producing albums for artists such as Brian Wilson, Jonathan Richman, NRBQ, John Wesley Harding, the Greenberry Woods, and Jerry Lee Lewis. He also worked in film and television, composing scores and writing songs mostly for cartoons such as The Ren and Stimpy Show, Digimon, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Camp Lazlo. He was 72 years old. Ron O'Brien, an American diving coach, an author. He was the head Ohio State University coach from 63 to 78. He coached Olympic champion Greg Louganis and future Ohio State diving coach Vince Panzano. O'Brien was the recipient of the Outstanding Senior U.S. Diving Coach Award 14 times. He is the only aquatic coach in the U.S. Olympics Hall of Fame. He has also entered the Halls of Fame for the Ohio State Athletics and the International Swimming and Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. He was 86 years old. Susan K. Sue Pitt, also known by her married name, Susan Anderson, was an American competition swimmer and world record holder. She lived with her parents, Larry and Kay Highland of Highland Park, New Jersey, at the time of competition. As a 16-year-old, she represented the United States at the 64 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. Pitt swam for the gold medal-winning U.S. team in the preliminary heats of the women's 4x100-meter medley relay. In 73, at age 25, she set a record for the 200 individual medley long course meters at the U.S. Masters Swimming meet on June 22nd with a time of 250.50. She was 76. Charles Herbert Woolery. Most of you probably know who he is. An American game show host, talk show host, actor, and musician. He had a long-running he had long-running tenures hosting several game shows. Woolery was the original host of the original daytime Wheel of Fortune, 75 to 81. The original incarnation of Love Connection, 83 to 94. Scrabble, 84 to 90. And during a brief revival in 93, Greed on Fox from the 94 to 2000. And I can't even see that word.
Lingo.
Lingo on Game Show Network from 2002 to 2007. Woolery's musical career includes several advertising jingles, a top 40 pop hit with the psychedelic pop duo The Avant Garde, and a number of country music releases. He was 83 years old. Tony Price, an American country blues singer from Austin, Texas, United States, and shortly after she began singing in country bars in Nashville, she met songwriter Will Owen, who wrote 8 of the 15 songs of her debut, Swim Away, 1993. Price has won numerous awards, including Female Vocalist of the Year, 94 through 97, Album of the Year, Hey, Song of the Year, Tumbleweed, and Blues Artist of the Year. She was 63 years old. Mike Panera, an American guitarist, singer, songwriter, and producer who started professionally in the late 60s with the group Blues Image, which had a number of 4 hits in the 70s with their Long Captain Ride. After the breakup of the group, he joined Iron Butterfly and later formed the group Ramatam. Panera was then the founding member of the band New Cactus, a later incarnation of the band Cactus. He was a lead guitarist for Alice Cooper from 1980 to 1982. He was 76 years old. Those are our 8 bells. Ladies and gentlemen, raise a glass as we give them honor to them, their families, and their fans. 8 bells, Davey. Very good. Now, in the pirate community, we have something called Fiddler's Green. And over this past week, 3 pirates from our community, the pirate community, which is worldwide, ladies and gentlemen, not just Florida, because our friend Jack Gonzo there is in Texas. So, who do we have for our Fiddler's Green? From the UK, Dorset, UK, Steve Piper, 1960 to 2024. Next, Two Toes, Don Gregg, from they don't have a year for his birth, but he just passed away last week in November from the Eastern United States. A lot of people knew him. He had a lot of postings on his passing on Facebook. And who's the third one? Captain Jack Caribbean Pirate, Scallywag, 1960 to 2024. I don't know where he was from, but I have talked to him or have had conversations via Facebook with him. Do you know any of those 3, Jack?
I know I think Two Toes might have been at the 22 inductions.
I think so.
In St. Augustine, so I might have met him there.
I believe so. Yeah, I think that's where we first met, was the 22 induction, correct?
Correct.
Yep, absolutely. Very good. All right, so good. Let's raise a glass to those 3 grand pirates and say we'll meet you again in Fiddler's Green. Toast to all of them. Aye. Davey, let's go into something a little more funny. And sometimes you miss the mark here, but let's see if Mini Mayhem can make us smile today.
All right.
Ahoy, mates! Mini Mayhem here with Joke of the Week, sponsored by Salt City Comics. Why didn't the pirate cook season the turkey? Think about it, and I'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
I have no clue. Why didn't he season the turkey? I have no clue. The worst part is we have to wait till the end of the show for either a laugh or a groan. So we'll see what happens. Quote of the week, Davey. Spyglass Travel. If you want a good walking tour of St. Augustine, ladies and gentlemen, see my friends at Spyglass Travel. A walk through the oldest city in the nation. Not only is it full of history, but it's a good cardiovascular walk because it's over an hour of walking through the city. And many of us can use that walk. But find out from Spyglass Travel. And what is the quote, Davey? We must find time to stop and thank people who make a difference in our lives. John F. Kennedy. Yep, that's a good one, especially a good one starting off with Thanksgiving, moving into Christmas. We should make time to thank people who make a difference in our lives. Good one, Davey. Very good. And we always run into National Day of. Not many this time. 4. Got him, Davey? National Play Day with Dad. On November 25th, National Play Day with Dad encourages fathers to spend the day focused on fun with their kids. It's a day designed for bonding and memories. And I will publicly say, I really made a mistake on that one in my life. I'll leave it at that. What's next? National Parfait Day. National Parfait Day kicks off breakfast, lunch, snack, or dinner just right. This versatile dish serves up sweet or healthy in layers of goodness. Usually served in a specially styled glass, a parfait presents ingredients in appealing layers, fruit, yogurt, or ice cream, provide the basis for transitions between nuts, chocolate, and even whipped cream. It all sounds good to me. Now, this one I thought was a little on the ridiculous side. Kickoff of the unofficial countdown of sorts. Whether you're finishing up or just getting started, holiday shopping is a task that either stresses people out or excites them. For those who look forward to holiday shopping, the idea of finding the perfect gift for someone they love tickles them with energy. However, others like the thrill of the hunt for deals. Still others just love the energy of giving during the holidays. The reason I thought this one was a silly one and ridiculous, I don't think many people need a reminder to go shopping. I just don't. And what makes this one even sillier is the next one coming up. National Blase Day. The two of them combined together. Blase Day is observed annually on November 25th. We aren't certain if we should feel excited about it or if we should feel blasé about Blase Day. This unique observance gives us permission to be blasé towards just about anything. Unimpressed by pumpkin spice? Oh well, it's okay to be blasé about it. Today especially. Heard the same song for the 4th time today? Be blasé. Tell somebody you're going shopping? Be blasé. Oh, very good. I just couldn't believe those two were back to back. How appropriate for a little bit of laughter on that one. And question of the week. Ancient City Sirens. Miss Gina and her girls provide all kinds of dance routines and entertainment for everything we have going on in the area. If you want good dancers, well, she's the only one you should contact. Miss Gina and the dancers. You actually saw them because they danced at the 2022 event.
I did.
They did. Very good. So, what is the question of the week, Davey? Thanksgiving dinner. You like ham or turkey? And what time of day do you sit for your meal? My wife and I were talking about that the other day because we were trying to decide how to do our meal this year. When I was growing up, Thanksgiving was about 2 p.m, kind of halfway between lunch and dinner. But I know some people, they do it at lunch and some people do it at dinner. So we're just curious. And what do you do? Ham or turkey? And I bet a bunch of people are going to say both. Yeah. You can't get too much ham or turkey, that's for sure. It has to be turkey every year, though, because I delight in making a really great turkey soup with the carcass at the end of the time. Yes. So we'll see what happens. And that means now we are at This Week in Nautical History, which is sponsored by Florida Water Tours. You want a good water tour of the city of St. Augustine? Check out Florida Water Tours. They are fantastic about it. Go ahead, Davey. Let's do This Week in Nautical History. Get another segment pulled out, and then let's get to talking with our guest, Mr. Jack Gonzo.
Welcome to This Week in Nautical History, sponsored by our friends at Florida Water Tours. Experience the Intercoastal Waterway at its finest, featuring picture-perfect attractions. We begin this week in nautical history in the year 1520. Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan begins crossing the Pacific Ocean. 1598. Jacob Cornelius van Nek's merchant fleet reaches Bantam, West Java, on Second Dutch expedition to Indonesia. 1717. Blackbeard attacks and captures a French merchant slave ship, which he renames as his flagship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. 1720. Anne Bonny and Mary Read are tried, found guilty of pirating, and sentenced to death in Spanish Town, Jamaica, although their discovered pregnancies win them stays of execution. 1778. British explorer Captain James Cook is the first European to visit Maui in the Sandwich Islands, now Hawaii. 1781. Crew of the slave ship Zong murder about 142 African slaves by dumping them into the sea to claim insurance. 1914. Battleship HMS Bulwark explodes at Sheerness Harbor, England. 788 die. 1940. SS Patria, carrying illegal immigrants, sinks in port of Hafaya. 200 die. 1941. British cruiser HMS Dorsetshire forces crew of German submarine supply ship MV Python to scuttle vessel in the South Atlantic, 1,150 miles west of South Africa. 1943. U-600 sinks in Atlantic Ocean. Also in 1943, U.S. aircraft carrier Hornet launched. 2015. Holy Grail of shipwrecks, the San Jose, sunk 1708, is confirmed found by an international team off the coast of Colombia. And finally, in 2017, North Korean ghost ship washes up Akita, Prefecture Beach, Japan, with 8 skeletons on board, 4th boat in a month. And that was this week in nautical history.
Very good, Davey. Now, I know we have a couple of posters and pictures from crew events from around the area that we'd like to at least give mention to real quick. So, Davey, you throw them up, I'll talk. This is the winter holiday put on by Miss Gina and the girls. And it is on December 21st from 7 to 11. This is her 4th annual, I believe. And the money that she raises helps foster children of St. Johns County and Alia's Acres. Understand they have a fairly decent lineup of entertainment for the night. The food is always good. The camaraderie is always the best. If you haven't gotten a ticket for that, there's the information on it. And there's a QR code. We'll be posting that to our Facebook page. What's next, Davey? Breakfast with Santa put on by the Seawolf Privateers down in Flagler County. A breakfast with Santa on December 7th from 8 in the morning till 10 in the morning. There's all the information. We'll be posting that too. And there is a QR code for them so you can join in all of their other fundraisers for the holiday season. Next, Night of Lights, Magical Ride with Santa. If you want a fantastic ride with Santa Claus through the Night of Lights put on by the Tasting Tours, well, you need to go there and join up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I happen to know for a fact firsthand there are only about 5 more available slots that I know of. So hurry up and book. You never know, could be gone fast. And after Christmas, if you want to take a ride with Captain Mayhem through the Night of Lights, there are 12 nights, 4 rides per night that we will be doing. I am going to make personal contact with many of the pirate crews around and see if we can't get some pirate camaraderie and social time going on for those rides. The rides will accommodate up to 9 people. So look for those dates. We will be posting them. Next week, I'll have posters for them so you know the exact dates. Thank you, Davey, on that one. And Now, it is time for our guest, who has been sitting there patiently, staring at the screen, wondering, what the hell am I in here for? Hi. And it is the great Jack Gonzo of Scoundrel Inn and Pirate Radio. Welcome aboard, mate.
Happy to be.
All right. So now, how long have you been doing Pirate Radio?
We started in 2015.
2015. So that's
coming up on a decade, and I have no idea how.
When you first started, and for the first couple of times, I mean, like we just, you're our 163rd episode. We get good coverage. We get a lot of people that watch us, not always at the same time they're watching us, but it's at least our numbers are going up all the time. When you first started, did you have the same feeling I did? And that is, wow, I wonder if this is really going to work.
A little bit. I pretty much started because I used to listen to Bilge Monkey. And then when he retired, there was just nothing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to listen to pirate music with pirates. So I asked him, are you okay with me doing this? He's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay.
I met Bilge Monkey back in 2010 at the Maryland event for the Order, the very first one, 2010. Okay. I can't think of the name of the town all of a sudden there in Maryland. Wow, it escapes me.
Was it the tall ships and like?
Why can't I think of the name of it? Wow.
I don't think it's Baltimore.
It wasn't Baltimore. It's just a little bit above Baltimore. Fells Point. Fells Point. Yeah, there's a sure sign that I am getting old. So, for those that don't know what you're doing, give us an explanation of what you're doing and when you're doing it and how we're doing it. We've got a link there for Scoundrels Inn, but give us some ideas of what you're doing and how you're doing it.
So when we first started off, it was just one night a week. Some nights would be longer than others, when rum was involved. But now we're doing at least one night a week, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time, and then some Monday afternoons, depending on schedule, which is the family and work-friendly portion, because we have a certain portion of our listeners who just want more traditional pure shanty. And so that's an hour at 2 p.m. Central Time on Monday afternoons. But yeah, we COVID sort of changed everything. We used to just be a live broadcast into a podcast. And then with COVID, that's when we went to 2 nights a week and added the Twitch element, which actually started bringing in money, which was nice. I've watched your show in bits and pieces myself. Sometimes we always don't have time to watch it, but the first time I watched the show, I stayed on the show with you and watched and kept up what was going on for at least an hour. And I noticed the Twitch options too. And I immediately went to Davey and I said, hey, research Twitch. So I believe we've added Twitch to our format lineup now. Yeah, it's one of those, able to get money. We don't get all the money. There's much easier ways, but we also had an issue shortly after that. The platform we were using for our broadcast was Germany, and they did podcasts and whatnot, but they had so many on there that were doing illegal music broadcasts that they cut anything with music.
Wow.
We have rights to everything we play for the most part. And so they just kicked us off. Luckily, we found a new home with a smaller one. But yeah, that sort of change. We've had to go through a few changes over the years, but we're still here.
So speaking of rights, because we learned that too, because we would put music in the background of things. We would use certain pictures, videos, even certain words can get you shut down. Yeah. And I mean, for example, we did an episode on April 14th, the history of the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. We were shut down within minutes of starting the show because YouTube didn't like the word assassination.
Yep. Yeah, they
So,
get, and especially now with AI, they'll key in for any little word, and because we tried to broadcast, they allow you that you can broadcast on Twitch and TikTok and everything all at the same time. Twitch is the only one that won't kick us off.
well, I kind of like that. So, so when it comes to rights, though, I guess I got strayed there for a second. Are you making deals with the bands themselves? Because there are a lot of pirate bands out there, aren't there?
Yeah, we have 162 bands we have access to. Some are still with us, some aren't. Some are just not performing anymore. Some, sadly, like Will It Be Caught, are no longer with us, and Skip Henderson.
Yes. Skip
But
Henderson,
we
Tom Mason.
we just lost Tom.
In fact, the episode that I watched was just after his death, just after his passing.
Just the sweetest man, too.
What's that?
Just the sweetest man.
Oh, he was fantastic. I mean, when I first met him, and we became good friends, and I loved having conversations with him, and some of the songs that you played, I think I even made a comment that night on your show. Way to go, making pirates cry.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that from occasion, but sadly we've had to do that a lot more the last couple of years. But
yeah, I know, and that's because, well, as we get older, so do all the rest of our friends too.
Yeah.
And it is sad. We're actually, believe it or not, I'm trying to work on the concept of an idea that at our Pirate Festival in February 1 and 2, my entertainment for that Saturday night is going to be all musicians that have had any connection with Tom Mason, and we're
that'd be fantastic.
Tom Mason. The whole night will be tributed to Tom Mason. So I'm working that out now. We'll see what happens. So, do you make deals with these bands because get a letter of permission from them? Or
yeah, that's pretty much all it is. Reaching out to them, going, "Hey, can we play your music?" And I can probably count on my hand the number of bands that said no.
Yeah,
and some just don't reply. But even then, that's not that many.
Well, yeah, I mean, what band who wants to get their music out there would say no to any kind of opportunity anyway?
And some folks want a band. They're like, hey, can we get them? Like, I've reached out, they haven't replied, and some are just not performing anymore. And so they're trying to. There's this. Let me bring up the band name because we got them by Scurvy Bastards. Old Bilge Monkey people will remember them because they sang Goblin Town and Dungeon Song, but they don't perform anymore. They haven't been together for like 15 years. Randomly, someone met one of the band members and told them about us, and so we got the rights.
Well, very cool.
So
what do? They send you a CD, or they send you an online version of their songs, or
some will send me their Bandcamp links. Some will send CDs, stuff like that, and others I feel like I already have the music. So
that's pretty good. You must have a fantastic collection then of pirate music or sea shanty music then.
Let's see, 51 gigs.
Wow.
Just on the looking at it right now. So,
well, very cool. So I'm not going to put you in a bad position and say, tell me your favorite. But
I can tell you a couple things.
There you go.
Who I think is the best right now is probably Ye Banished Privateers out of Sweden. They are it's all original. Of course, they are also the biggest band you've ever seen.
Really?
The Phil used to do that pirate podcast, and he talked to them. And when he interviewed them, they said, "Yeah, we have about 46 members because if someone goes down, we have someone in reserve, or if we go on tours, not everyone can go." Now, this is before they signed with Napalm Records, so they might have shrunk that down a bit. But yeah, they are. If you've never heard or seen them, definitely check them out.
Say their name again.
Ye Banished Privateers.
Ye Banished Privateers. Okay, I have heard the name before. I guess I'll have to look that one up then.
Okay. They have one of the they have multiple singers and all kinds of instruments. Their look is great. All their song is period specific too.
Wow.
So
So historically, I guess if they're just making it up, or it's new music, it's original music, it's historically accurate in the content, but not the song itself.
yeah, they have especially lately. The last album in particular, some of their songs like "Elephant Dance" is about it's specifically about the being stuck between the two empires as they battle, and it's like, who makes songs about the British and the French, and or in Spanish, and sort of just stuck in the middle.
We'll have to ring them up then. So some of the bands that I've had anything to do with, or have met, or have enjoyed, the Brigands are one from up north of us. I actually performed at a couple of events that they performed at too. I think that's one of the nice things. If I've been asked to perform at some of these events where some of the other bands are playing, entertainers, doesn't matter what venue you are, whether you're a musician or whatever else, entertainers kind of hang together after in between sets and share stories and war stories, and it's kind of cool that way. So the Brigands, obviously Tom Mason, the Body Boys. I'm trying to think of a couple of others down here in the Florida area, where I'm in the process of trying to find bands, pirate bands now that might be in the area, might be open to coming to St. Augustine, who have never been here before, because I'm finding out that if I get a band that some of the pirates in the area might know, but they've never seen them, it opens up the possibility of a larger audience for me. And so that's some of the things that I'm researching now. So you've been doing this for 15 years. That's a lot of online sets.
Well, 10 years on the just show portion.
Right. So are there? I don't want to ask that one. That's a really bad one. I was going to ask a negative one, and I think I'll leave that one alone. Have you ever had guests on your show though?
No. When I started, you had Phil's podcast started roughly around the same time, or slightly after, and then there was the History of Pirates podcast.
Yeah.
And so never really had any reason to. We've had bands in the chat room. Ubanis Pirate Peter's been in the chat room, Pat Raskett. So we've had bands join us in the chat, but not so much in the show itself.
Because we haven't done it yet, and you gave me a name for somebody earlier today that I should contact to see if I could get them to be part of the of our show, because I'd like to have some guests like that on the show. I mean, we do 52 shows a week, 52 shows a year, and we're always looking for guests. And I try to keep it not just pirate, but entertainment, music, or whatever else. So I think we're going to have to start, pardon me, in 2025, looking at putting maybe some of these guests on the show, some of these bands. So I see a comment there. How do we find your radio show? Is the link at the bottom the easiest way to find your show, or is that to find all your links?
That will go to all the links. You can also just go to scoundrelsin.com. There's links all over that as well. And if you're just looking for the pod, you can find the podcast portion. There's 600 plus episodes. Go to just search for Scoundrels In, as long as it's not Spotify, because Spotify does not have us on there because we can't make them any money.
Yeah, we're on Spotify, but I don't know how long. We haven't been on them for long, but we'll see what happens. I just tell everybody I'm just trying to give Joe Rogan a run.
We were on there for a couple months, and then we were taken off. I think when they realized we were music, and they can't make money off us playing things. And
well, rumor has it that Elon Musk is going to buy up MSNBC and turn it into something else. We both might have an opportunity there.
Hard pass.
So, do you have any particular, what's the word I want to use here? Any particular guidelines for when you pick a group or a song?
Like when I build the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm the so I come from sort of a college radio type thing where I would build my shows, and I do that. We essentially have 6 sets of 5 that we start off with, and as my regulars will tell you, a lot of sets have themes. They just sort of happen that way. I try to make sure I get the majority of our bands played at least once a month. Our most popular bands will be played every week, but so we're moving through, and so it's usually just, oh, this will go good following this, or I picked this song, let's see what I can build set wise with that. So
Well, that answered one of the other questions I was going to ask. Do you do themes? Do you have ways that you do that? But also, then you probably pick music that you think that's going to generate some conversation or some activity in the chat room too, right?
oh, there's some of that, and then some nights like when we've lost somebody, we have to do a farewell set. And,
right, like you did with Tom Mason.
Yeah,
you've got a good niche. Are there any other programs out there like yours?
Captain Smoo up in Quebec, Canada.
Yes.
He's got his international one.
Yes. And now, are you part of his IPC now also?
Yeah. I helped when we did it. The Long Beach one, I helped with that. What was that? 22. Was that 22? Yeah, 2022 when we did the Pirate Rendezvous over there. I was supposed to go this year to
Long Beach.
I was at Long Beach. Sir. I was supposed to go to the rendezvous in Brixham, UK.
Oh, yeah.
And I had at least 2 of my bands were playing there. And then we've had family stuff happen at the end around this time last year that sort of killed the first half of 2024 for me. So
yeah, I wanted to go to Brixham too, but when you are already committed to doing so many things like the Pirate Museum tours that I'm committed to doing all the time, and our Halloween event, and then our February event, and now I'm into almost 100 Santa Claus runs. It's kind of hard to break away and go to anything as much as you would like to. I'd like to get you back down here to St. Augustine and see what we could do. Maybe have you actually on the show, and maybe combine that show into a bit more of a music show that night, and just play some extra songs for everybody so that we could have some fun with it. I think it would be a lot of fun. So if you ever get a chance that you think you want to travel to St. Augustine, once you figure that out, then let's make a plan and see what we can do. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially since the next induction should be there.
Yes.
26. So
yes, planning, and that's the word right now. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, it's hard to beat that location. So
it is. I mean, St. Augustine really is a great location. You've been here. Many of the other pirates have been here. Corey Lefkowitz and he's watching the show. I think I saw him in the areas there. Who lives out in California, but is now moving to Florida. And he was here in St. Augustine, and him and his wife and another good friend of ours, Angelina June, down from Daytona, who plays fiddle and plays music. They all came up and sat in the pirate room with me here, and we had an afternoon to visit, and it's the first time I had ever gotten to meet him in person. So
okay.
His plans to do things here in Florida are pretty cool. And I kind of like it when I find other pirates that have venues of entertainment that we can share the same limelight with. I like doing things with other entertainers, and what you do is an entertainment thing. So, but if you ever want to come down here and just come down here and be a pirate and wander the museum and just sit in the back and smoke cigars and drink rum,
It just sounds like a horrible time.
It is. It's a terrible time, but I'll buy. So, do you try to go to some of the other events?
Oh yeah, was it last year in 2023? I was all over the place, and then my accountant said, "No, you were writing too much off. That doesn't work." Let me bring that up real quick. In 2023, because most of mine is going for where my bands are. So in 2023 we started down in Brevard, the Renaissance Festival down there. Then we always have the Pirate Gathering in New Orleans on Easter weekend. Went up to Oklahoma, Cape Cod, Long Beach, Bristol, Maryland, and all my regular Texas events.
So Davey's posting up some pictures here of some of the bands that you've hosted on your show.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever been to the Pirate Festival? It's only been, I think this has only been 3 years up in Hammond, Louisiana.
So they have that at the Louisiana Ren Fairgrounds.
Yes.
And have not, because they had been running at the same time we're doing our Pirate Gathering in New Orleans. And yeah, that the timing, it's far enough away because they're like, well, we can get everyone there. It's going to be 3 hours there. So
yeah, I went to the first one. The guy that owns it is a past military buddy of mine. We were stationed in Arizona together back in '90, and we both got out. And he went back to Louisiana and started building the Renaissance Festival that he built. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, he said, I think I want to try a pirate festival. The first one was 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And had some great bands, great music, great acts. I did magic shows for 2 weekends and had a good time. I think he's pared it down to 1 weekend now.
He has.
He has.
And I think they're still trying to find the right time of year for it.
Yeah, I think he's still working with it. And he does it in the March and April timeframe, and it really is hard on my schedule too, because we have the St. Augustine Celtic Festival here, the St. Augustine Seafood Festival here, and the St. Augustine Rhythm and Ribs and Blues Festival here, all within about an 8-week period of time. So they're the 3 major festivals of St. Augustine, and so it does cause some problems. But the Celtic Festival would be a fun one for you to come to. Although not pirate, but they do have some great Celtic bands, and some of the pirate music that you play or the sea shanty music you play borders on Celtic anyway, because some of them are Celtic.
Yeah, we got a Celtic Conundrum that's near to you guys. So
yep, absolutely. So yeah, it would be a really good one for you guys, for you to come and visit. I happen to know who runs the major beer booth at the Celtic Festival.
That's always helpful.
Yeah, it's very helpful. There's some merch for everybody.
Real quick about, you see the merch and you see Rum Titty. There's a story behind that.
Go ahead.
And it involves Tom Mason.
Well, let's hear that one then.
So Tom came down here once for the tall ships in Galveston. And it was just, for whatever reason, a very cold weekend. And April, Texas, that's very rare. To the point of the nighttime performance was me and my 5 other pirates. And that was it. And we're outdoors. It's about 45 degrees, 50 degrees. It's raining, and they put on one of the best shows I've ever saw. But the ladies with us were drunk enough to when he started singing in the drink, they were like, wait, no, it's Rum Titty. And just started.
Oh, and I know which song he's singing too.
Uh-huh.
I do. I know which song he's singing. Nice. Very good.
He enjoyed that.
I bet he did. Yeah. I used to tease him because he used to get that damn trombone out all the time. Oh my goodness. So Any future changing plans for what you do with your show, or are you just going to keep it the way it's going because it works so good anyway?
Nothing, no plans currently changing. Only big thing really is going up with Graybeard January 25th in St. Louis for the Pirate Music Festival up there.
Now that would be really good. When is that one?
January 25th. Let me make sure I get the name right. Because it's they started last year or the year before, and it was one of Musical Blade's last shows last year. Post too many pictures. I want to make sure this is up.
And what's it called?
I'm want to make sure I get it right. I'm rolling down to it because and some folks will understand this. I definitely have a bit of COVID brain fog. It's been an interesting couple years since then. So, like, to give you an idea of how bad it's been. I was at the Texas Renaissance Festival 2 weeks ago, and I saw a gentleman sitting there with the most beautiful mullet I've seen since 1987. Like pure feathered, fabulous Freebirds mullet. And I could not remember the word mullet.
I'm thinking that the word beautiful and mullet do not belong in the same sentence.
Oh, I know. It's just one of those. What is that word I'm looking for? Keep on going. Oh, you know what? Yeah, just do it this way. But yeah, this year they had. This year it sounds like it's a bit more Viking focused, which is what a lot of things seem to be this day. But Samas, who used to be Valkyric, part of Serena,
Yeah.
will be playing there. The Mighty Ship will be playing there. There he is. Oh, there it is. Gateway Pirate Fest.
Gateway Pirate Fest.
Yep.
I'm going to have to look that one up. Is it in St. Louis, you said?
Yeah, it's technically it's Sauget, Illinois, but it's basically the greater St. Louis area.
Very cool. So have you ever done live shows or live remote shows?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've broadcast live from Renaissance fairs for a couple of years.
Do you go and set up a booth in a tent to do it, or you just carry your equipment in and just?
Not inside the fairs itself. It's usually been because we have campgrounds here, and so like Sherwood Forest Fairs, which is outside of Austin, their opening weekend there's a midnight toast that the owner comes to, and for a couple of years I was the pre-show entertainment that we broadcast live. But it's so big now that signal gets a little wonky. And we've done it at TRF before. We've broadcast from bars before. It's been a while since we did a live one, but
we do one from a wings place here called Dick's Wings in the area, and we do it every holiday season. I think the one we're going to do this year is on the Monday after Christmas. We invite some of our charities to come in. We invite anybody that wants to be joining our crew to come in, and the Swashbucklers put that on, and we do a live broadcast there. We've tried a few others at not Comic Cons, but cons. But we still have the issues of trying to make sure battling the damn outside interference of all the different noises and sounds going on. It really makes it tough.
At TRF especially was tough because the campgrounds are a Dionysus Bacchanal and can get a little rowdy. So.
I bet. We've done some really cool interviews with some major celebrities, and then we get home and look at them, and it's like, crap. That's just, oh God, terrible. We can't even. I won't even show it on our show because it's just embarrassing. So we keep trying to come up with new ideas and new ways to do it. We're working on a portable sound booth now. Up with a portable sound booth, I think it's going to make it better for us. So we'll see what happens, but you never know. I'm open to doing anything and everything we can with this podcast. I think that's what makes it fun. I think you have the same thing going. You're not doing the same exact everything every week.
No.
You're changing up your music. You're changing up your whatever's going on. Although we have segments that we do everything's different.
Right.
And so that
I'm pretty sure I've never done the same show twice.
I don't think we've ever really done the same show twice. I do know that we've done a few. I just saw here. Let me see what that one is. Somebody just popped up on the Facebook with a comment, and it had something to do with Scoundrels Inn. So let me see if I can find that one. It was somebody liking the fact that I actually put up a post about the show and mentioned Scoundrels Inn, but she didn't say anything else. Okay, I was fooled. All right. So, I always, when I have guests on the show, I always like to ask them this question and put them on the spot. Do you have any kind of a really cool favorite memory that has happened because of your show? Something that comes to mind?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, it's a memory, but it's not something like this happened specifically during the show. My friends Raven and John, told me a couple of years ago, we don't listen to the same music. Your show is the only time we're listening to the same thing.
Well, that's cool.
Listen to you together all the time.
Well, that's cool. That's really a good way to brag about. I mean, it really is. I mean, I think somebody told me the other day when I was talking to them about our show, they said, what we like about your show, everybody might think it's all about pirates, but you have a variety of things on there. And there's a little bit of something for everybody in our show. And as long as we can keep doing that, I think we're in good shape. Yep. So my brother has just sent you an invitation to come to Panama City and hang out with their event. It's in October every year. It's around, what is that holiday? Columbus Day? Which is also supposed to be Indigenous People Day now or something. But that weekend is, and that festival there, that pirate festival is turning into a grand event for the Panhandle of Florida. It really is turning into a great event. So if you ever get a chance to go down there, you should. We'll be there next year. We didn't go this year because of the hurricanes that breezed through here. Yeah. But we've already been asked to come back. I just got to rework our deals out with them. So we'll see. Looking through any of the comments, I'm looking to see if anybody made any specific comments towards you. I see somebody said they're going to smoke a turkey, then snake on the leftovers throughout the evening. I'm sure they meant snack, not snake.
Yeah. I don't know. Could have a snake in the house.
Could have a snake in the house. I just always wonder how people smoke turkeys. How do they get it all rolled up in that little piece of paper? Let's see. So Ransom Mayhem. So we have Zachary Harker from up in Michigan. I don't see Captain Smoo on the show. I have Will the Historian from Northern Alabama. And, of course, my brother from over in the Panhandle of Florida. And there's Nightingale in Florida. She's from this area here. So I see somebody from San Marcos, Texas, Whiteboard Teague. You know who it is?
Yep, that's Whitebeard Teague. You've met Whitebeard Teague.
Have I?
Yep.
Was he?
He was at St. Augustine too. He's been a finalist a couple of times for the order.
Okay.
He's the one that looks like Teague. And if you actually Google like Captain Teague coat, more than likely you're going to see a picture of him. He was at least the first one I saw that had that coat, and so he usually pops up on everything.
Yes. So put that one back up there. Yes, Minstrel Raven. We did share the stage at Hiatus of the Pontchartrain the first year that in Hammond. That was me. And it's always nice to cross paths, even if it is electronically, with other people. Mm-hmm. I loved everybody that was there, all the musicians and all the acts he had. it was a great time. I think he's got potential there. He just needs to figure out the one thing of what's a good date. And if he's in competition with somebody else, you never know. You got to move it around. So, so whiteboard Teague, yes, he was at the last induction. But, I was just telling my guest here this afternoon in my pirate room, I have a problem with keeping everybody straight. It seems you've gone to more events than I have. I will tell everybody most of the time it's just because I'm old. But the other reason is if you're a pirate that has more than one outfit, I have problems keeping you straight.
Oh, Jack has many outfits. Let me just whip through some of them for you.
Yeah.
I have fun with our guests. I hope Jack doesn't mind.
No, not at all.
No, I truly, unless we have made an actual more, for lack of a better word, this is probably not the proper way to say it, but a more bonding friendship like we have made because of our shows and everything. If we had to done that, see, I have problems remembering people from the 2022 induction.
It was busy too. So you were hosting.
Well, that's part of it. I was busy, and you were at that event that weekend, according to Minstrel Raven.
Yep.
So
at Pontchartrain?
At Pontchartrain the first year? Maybe
I was.
Well, there might have been the gray vest with green trims is my favorite. Parlay 8's on board.
It should be. They made it.
Yeah. Yes. That's like Parlay 8. I really, and what I told Corey, and he's listening too, so he can verify. What I told Corey is that some of the male pirates I know are as bad as some of the female pirates. They have more clothes than anybody, and I can't keep them all straight. Whereas me, Captain Mayhem, is a red coat with gold trim and black everything else. That's me. And I did it because I trademarked it to a point, but it's also because I'm lazy. I don't want to have more clothes. But over the last couple of years, I've changed a few things and done some others. I was at the first Pirate of Pontchartrain Festival also. So I had the encampment down over by the river, over by the food joint. I had a 2-tent. Was it a 2-tent? No, we had a 1-tent. We had a 16 by 16 marquee, and we had a traveling pirate museum under the fly. And we were there for both weekends. We stayed during the middle of the week and traveled down to New Orleans at one point. My first sergeant, that's military. My quartermaster was with me, and we spent the whole 9 days there. We had a good time. The camaraderie was really great amongst the pirates and the other people that we met. We had a good time. I think it's a great event. I just hope he can, make it a good, solid one. He did that with his Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, they're rocking and rolling right now.
Yeah, and I just saw a post just before the weekend that he has no more tickets to sell for this past weekend.
Yeah, they sold out last weekend. I think they're sold out for this coming weekend. Yeah. They're getting close to the problem Maryland has. Maryland was essentially sold out before the season started.
That's a bad problem to have. It's a good bad problem to have, or a bad good problem to have.
And it's sad because people are like, we'll expand. Maryland's landlocked. They can't expand at all.
No.
So what you got is what you got.
Yeah. Well, at least in the Louisiana one, he's got 99 acres of property. Yeah. He can expand and do more and probably will. When I was down there and hung out with him, like I said, we were stationed at the same military base back in Tucson, Arizona. And so, and we had a lot of time to talk, and he was also working his way into the magic world too. So Parlay 8, they could only extend their weekend, but the conflicts with other ferries and the entertainers. That's true too. It starts to get to be a problem when you get to be so big that.
Yep.
I know, it's just. I'll never have that problem with my pirate festival in St. Augustine, because we only have a certain amount of property. And I really, truly, believe it or not, to be honest, I do not really build my pirate festival for other pirates. I build it for families and tourists here in St. Augustine. But I'm happy with, I've been getting messages from other pirates from around the Southwest or Southeast here that want to come and visit. So you should come and visit.
Oh yeah, the father-in-law's moving to Ocala, so
Well,
won't be as far because he's in Punta Gorda now. So.
Well, he moves to Ocala. You'll have to make plans to come down and visit, and then hang out and come over here, and we can work on any kind of shows you want. I'd be happy to do share a show with you. It'd be a lot of fun.
My honor.
So your show, you said you do the show on Monday afternoons, and it's more of a family-rated show?
Yeah, because we can get, spicy on the regular show. As someone once said, a lot of colorful metaphors sometimes. But the Monday afternoon show, when we're able to have it, is, more of our work and family-friendly show.
Right.
So, clean language, nice music.
Right. So I just saw Parlay 8 said that one of the two of them, I'm not sure which one is talking as Parlay 8, their sister lives in Ocala. I did not know that either. It seems everybody wants to either come to Florida or is already in Florida.
There you go.
It's the free nation of Florida.
Meanwhile, some of us are trying to go to either Colorado or the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. And are there still, maybe because I'm not sure, there were some pirate crews up in the Pacific Northwest, up in the Oregon and Washington area.
Oh, yeah.
Are they still there?
Yeah. Red Dog's still up there. They still got a big. I know Seattle has a whole big one that I blanking on the name.
I don't remember it either.
They have a Gasparilla type thing, but it's not pirate centric. But the big draw is the big pirate crew.
Yeah,
from what I understand. And
all right, so let me ask this: Minstrel Raven, I'm assuming it does music. Yeah.
Minstrel Raven and the Fishing Heads.
Well, you know what? I need a music act. Come to Florida. Where are they based out of? Let's see if they'll answer that question. Where are you? Where is Minstrel Raven based out of?
He plays everywhere. He is, I want to say, Notre Dame.
Okay. And I see another one there, Davey, a new name that just popped up at the very bottom there, Rainbow. I don't recognize them either. I'd see it. I like seeing new names on our thing. I hope that all of you that are watching that are new to the show will tune in to us if you can every Monday night. We have great guests, like our guest tonight, Jack Gonzo. So you've been doing pirate for 15 years on the radio for 10.
Yeah, give or take.
So what got you into the pirate side of it? Let's start with that now.
Really, it was when I lived in D.C., Maryland was my home fair, and Pirates Royale was the act at Maryland. At the White Hart every weekend. They had the thing I liked about that I haven't seen any other pirate band do at a Renaissance fair. And maybe because they don't have the ability to. They had a little encampment off the stage. So after they were done singing, they had their encampment that you'd see at any East Coast Pirate Festival. So that was a nice touch, I thought. But, they just sing beautiful music and that's how I found Bilge Monkey, because we had moved to Houston and I was like, I want what I'm missing, and ended up finding Bilge Monkey. So.
Is Bilge Monkey still doing anything?
No, he stopped 2012. I want to say.
Yeah, I think that's the last time. Yeah, because when I first started, I had wanted to do this podcast. So we've been doing this for 3 years. So 2021 is when we started, and before we started jumping out with it, I reached out to a couple of other people that had been doing things like this because one, I was looking for advice, and two, I didn't want to step on anybody else's toes. That was the main thing I didn't want to do. So Pirates Royale, the leader of that is who you told me I should talk to about being on the show, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And he does that, and he also has Fletcher Moon, where he has a whole show he talks about beer.
Well, that's a good subject. I like that. Very good. Well, I will have to send him a message because I'm starting to work on the 2025 guest list now. We only have 4 more weeks in this year and I believe all of them are taken up now as of this afternoon, which makes me happy. So, it's just, for me, it was an accident to fall into the pirate world also, because I had come out here from Las Vegas as a comedian and magician and moved back to my hometown and wanted to build a dinner show, and it didn't quite work. And doing card tricks as a pirate in some of the taverns here in St. Augustine was the only way I could keep myself afloat financially. And then the rest is history. And now here I am. As I like to tell everybody, I grew to be this ugly because I was always going to be a pirate, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, I have a face for radio, but yet we still do this podcast. So, when you're doing your show live, as you do you get, because we already said earlier, you kind of set up a show list or a set list, but you take requests too?
Yeah, absolutely. And they have functions within Twitch, which last week was a great example of. So if you just watch the show, you get free channel points. And so each show on Twitch can assign those, have options for the channel points. You click that and something will happen. And I just happen to have play my song now, play my band now for so many channel points, and some of the listeners took over a portion of the show last week.
What do you think the most? So you can give me 2 answers to this, and both of them may be interconnected anyway. What is the most played band that you put on your show? And then the second part of that would be, or maybe the easier way to answer that would be, what's the most played song?
I can sort of give you that answer. Taking out the intro and end songs. Raven's going to laugh at this one. And this is probably the most played song because one of our listeners always makes us play it. And I do believe they're around your neck of the woods. I think they're from Florida. Tuatha Day. And their version of Whiskey in a Jar.
Whiskey in the Jar. We had Tuatha Day play at our festival one year. And they were good. They play at a Celtic festival not too far away from here. We haven't had them back, but it might be time to reach out and bring them back because they're popular too.
Oh yeah.
They're like very Celtic, a lot of drums, bagpipes. I'm not sure why they've never gotten a chance to play at the Celtic festival here. But we had them play at one of our probably Old City Pirate Fest 2 or 3. I don't remember. This is our 9th year doing Old City Pirate Fest. So 6 or 7 years ago, we brought them in, and they were a hit. A lot of people liked them. So but I'm always looking for possibilities of new bands because, as I said earlier, bringing in a new band just brings in new lifeblood to an event.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's important. So, what is? Well, I already kind of asked you that. I don't want to ask you that and put you in a bad position because you have some of your fans watching now, so you can't tell me your favorite. So, I personally, I like all the old ones, all the old favorites, and I'm good friends with and a huge fan of Rusty Cutlets down here, and they've played a lot for us at some of our events. And in fact, Mark Miller, his son Cole, works at the Pirate Museum and the Colonial Quarter now. He's a tour guide, so we have them all the time. You really should consider, though, that the festival in October in Panama City Beach, because it is a good weekend. It's a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. I know Parlay 8 was there last time. Emily and Robert Farrell, you know them.
Yep.
They were there. In fact, Emily and Robert came and visited me here in my private room about 3 weeks ago. We just sat here in the room and drank rum, smoked cigars, and chatted. So, good friends they are.
Yep. He's the one that nominated me this last time. So.
Yep. Now, so we're going to have to see you at the next induction then, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'll be at the next induction.
Good. Very good.
I made the last 2.
Yeah.
At least the last 2.
Very good. So I have, Robert always likes to look at my ring because my ring is worn down because I wear it constantly. I've had mine since 2012. So any last words you want to, before we jump into a couple of the other segments? I'll give you a warning. We always give you the chance at the end of the show to give us your last thoughts before we sign off. But if anything here in this segment before I jump into a couple of other things real quick?
No, but I want to expand on the most played songs. Because Whiskey in a Jar, more Celtic. Pirate-wise, probably Pride of Bedlam, Spanish Ladies, Captain Torn and Ne'er-Do-Well Cats, Pirate Invasion, Hangman's Jig, and the Pirates Charles, Talderoy are the most played songs.
Oh, is the Pirate Charles still around too?
Yeah, they're last I heard, they are even working on a new album. So
really, the only time I saw them was at a Tybee Island event, and that was probably 7 years ago, maybe 9, at Tybee Island. I haven't seen hide nor hair of them since. So
yeah, it killed me. We were bringing them in to Texas in 2020 before COVID, and then never got to make it happen after that.
Yeah, well, COVID kind of destroyed a lot of things if you think about it. And basically, COVID just set everybody back to originality and the beginning of anything that they were building. Because, I mean, our Pirate Festival was strong up until COVID, and then COVID came in and we were down for 2 years, and then we've had to rebuild it again. And it's been tough rebuilding it. It really has. So COVID did a number on everybody in every way. So, all right. So, Davey, let's give our guest a chance to relax his voice while you put on This Week in History, sponsored by our good friends at Dick's Wing, which we may have to go get a burger there tomorrow because they got a great Tuesday afternoon burger, which he ate last week with me. And so we might have to do the same thing tomorrow. But Dick's Wings, right down the road from us. If you want a good set of wings, they've got that. If you want a good burger, they got great lunch specials, everything from $8.99 up, and it is well worth it. So play us This Week in History, Davey.
Wait a minute. First, I think you wanted to comment on this.
Oh, yes, I do. That's right. This was sent to me by a friend of mine. Look at the Jolly Roger. The Navy has put that on their football uniforms for their game against Army, for the Army-Navy game. And my friend said it's not exactly a great choice, but whatever it takes to beat Army is okay with him. All right, This Week in History, Davey.
Welcome to This Week in History, sponsored by our good friends at Dick's Wings Bar and Grill. Wings, salads, wraps, quesadillas, and more. No matter what your taste buds crave, they've got you covered. We begin This Week in History in the year 1789, first National Thanksgiving in America. 1791, first U.S. Cabinet meeting held at George Washington's home in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, Secretary of Treasury Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of War Henry Knox, and Attorney General Edmund Randolph attend. 1868, Battle of Washita River, Oklahoma. General George A. Custer attacks group of Native American Indians. Their chief, Black Kettle, dies in the attack. 1893, women vote in a national election for the first time in the New Zealand general election. 1895, Swedish chemist Alfred Nobel will establish the Nobel Prize. 1905, Talmico makes the first ever advertisement for a radio set by advertising an $8.50 set in the Scientific American, which claimed to receive signals for up to 1 mile. 1911, audience throws vegetables at actors for first recorded time in U.S. 1920, first Thanksgiving parade, Philadelphia. 1953, Hugh Hefner publishes first edition of Playboy magazine, featuring Marilyn Monroe as the magazine's first centerfold. 1953, Rosa Parks is arrested for refusing to move to the back of the bus and give her seat to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. 1972, co-founder of Atari, Nolan Bushnell, releases Pong, the first commercially successful video game in Andy Capp's Tavern in Sunnyvale, California. 1973, U.S. President Richard Nixon signs the Emergency Petroleum Allocation Act, authorizing petroleum price production, allocation, and marketing controls. 1975, U.S. President Gerald Ford signs Education for All Handicapped Children Act, requiring states provide free education for children with a disability. And finally, in 1982, Tootsie, directed by Sidney Pollack and starring Dustin Hoffman and Jessica Lange, premieres in Hollywood. And that was This Week in History.
I always like seeing some of the history things because, well, that movie Tootsie would be looked at completely differently in this day and age. So we normally do Captain's Call, mail, and guest on deck, but I have neither because I've been so busy working on other things. So we're going to skip those. But I do want to take up just a few seconds to go through. I went all the way back to the beginning of our comments. I wanted to see if there was anybody there that made some comments towards what we're doing. I've already introduced everybody from the different points of the compass that they're at, but I wanted to see if anybody answered some of our questions or anything else. And Corey Lefkowitz is out on the road. He's in Georgia now. He left here at about 6 o'clock, heading to Virginia. Let's see. He prefers turkey. I see smoked turkey. I see leftovers through the evening. I see fried turkey and baked ham all day long. And let's see what else. I think we should. I think we should go back to what they ate at the first Thanksgiving: venison. That's my son for you. I appreciate that one. Venison is always good, though. I make venison stew, so there you go. So let's see. I've got a new watcher, CPH 630, Whitebeard Teague. I hope you'll stay with us, sir. Subscribe to us and keep a watch. Maybe we can actually get you on the show, too. That would be a lot of fun. Once in a while, we come up with this idea that we want to put several pirates on the show and talk about pirates from all over. So that might be a good one, too. But I see that everybody is pretty well made their answers. Ransom Mayhem has given you the invite to come to Panama City. It is a great event. You'll love it if you get the chance to go. Minstrel Raven, if you would, please send me some information in some way, shape, or form, so maybe we can see, because you said here you wouldn't mind coming to Florida. Maybe we can give you an excuse to come to Florida. Then if I get you down here, then I have an excuse to get Gonzo down here. See, always planning. It's the pirate way, right? So, very good. Parlay 8, it's always great to have them on board. I always appreciate their support. And I think that's about it. I don't see anything else we need to worry about. I'm still wondering how you smoke a turkey. All right, very good. So, Davey, what's the
I still
reveal?
have the history of Thanksgiving.
Oh, you do you? Well, then show that real quick.
All right.
That'll give us some venison to eat.
To most Americans, the Pilgrims of Plymouth, Massachusetts are the iconic inspiration for today's Thanksgiving feast. After the winter of 1620 killed almost half of their people, the colonists formed a relationship with the neighboring Wampanoag tribe, who taught them about fishing, planting, and hunting. By autumn of 1621, the colonists had collected enough food to feed the community through the coming winter. The Wampanoags joined the colonists for a 3-day feast in honor of their bounty. The feast probably did not include our modern Thanksgiving staple, turkey. More likely, the colonists and Wampanoags dined on roast goose, along with corn, codfish, and lobster. This 1621 harvest meal is now commonly thought of as the first Thanksgiving. Yet for later generations of colonists, New England days of Thanksgiving had little to do with the 1621 harvest festival. Theirs was a religious holiday, descended from Puritan days of fasting, prayer, and giving thanks to God. Every autumn, the governor of each colony would declare days of thanksgiving for bountiful harvests, victorious battles, or drought-ending rains. In 1777, the Continental Congress decreed that all 13 of America's colonies celebrate a national day of Thanksgiving that year in celebration of their victory over the British at Saratoga. By the mid-19th century, many states celebrated the holiday. However, the date could vary by weeks or even months. A determined magazine editor named Sarah Josepha Hale set about establishing a national Thanksgiving Day. She passionately believed that such a day would help unite a nation headed towards civil war. Hale began a one-woman letter-writing campaign, urging politicians to establish an annual day of Thanksgiving. Her efforts were finally rewarded by Abraham Lincoln, who saw the unifying potential of the holiday. In 1863, 4 months after the victory at Gettysburg, he declared the last Thursday of November to be Thanksgiving Day. By the 20th century, Thanksgiving was a welcome day of leisure from a 6-day work week. In the 1920s, the National Football League was formed. In an effort to boost attendance, the fledgling Detroit Lions devised the concept of a Thanksgiving Day game. Parades also became a Turkey Day tradition, and department stores quickly saw their value as a kickoff to the Christmas shopping season. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade began in 1924, and year after year, millions of New Yorkers braved the cold to watch the festivities. Most of all, Thanksgiving is about family. With modern life moving faster than ever, Thanksgiving gives us a day to take a collective breath, reconnect with loved ones, and remember just how much we have to be thankful for.
And not one mention of the 100 years before with the Spanish history in St. Augustine. All right. Now let's have the joke of the week reveal there, Mr. Longwood.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. Why didn't the pirate cook season the turkey? The answer is there wasn't enough time.
See now, Gonzo, he's laughing.
I'm just like, do we even put time on a turkey? I don't know.
I think that joke has run out of time. So we always like to thank everybody for being a part of the show, and the way we do our thank yous is some little short videos. So ladies and gentlemen, if you will indulge us, it is time to say thank you to all of our...
The Captain's Quarters podcast is indeed a ship sailing the seas of the world, always in search of history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a ship, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this ship afloat.
The casting crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davy Longwood, Gunner Hellfire Henley, Cartographer Mandy Joe, the Powder Monkey, and Juan Cam.
Helping others gives a crew purpose. are treasured charities that we support. Inc., investing in kids. The Humane Society of St. Johns County. Alia's Acres, a no-kill animal rescue zone. And the Cadets of the St. Johns County Fire Department. The 4 major charities that we support. But there's always room for more.
You too can be part of the crew and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon. A small monthly contribution as Powder Monkey or First Mate memberships. Or a single contribution. PayPal or Venmo. Go to YouTube. Hit the like and follow buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
Very good, Davey. It's always proper to thank everybody. And there is our platforms. You can watch us every Monday night at 8 o'clock on YouTube. It automatically downloads to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. iHeartRadio, if you want to listen to us. Music, Amazon. Twitter, CastBox, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, and, of course, Spotify. And we have people that listen to us constantly. Our numbers prove that. Don't they, Davey?
They do, but poor Mandy Joe was
Okay,
unable.
so we don't have that one for tonight. So we're over 1,600 supporters and subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, and the numbers keep going up. And we're getting between 2,000 and 3,000 hits on all those stations together combined weekly. So I think we're doing okay. At least it sounds okay to me. What do I know? I'm not a tech guy. All right. So on that note, Mr. Gonzo,
Sir.
you have the last word before we sign off.
Well, I get asked every now and then why I do this, and it's because maybe it's my background of the various subcultures. I was always music focused, and for me, that's how I was introduced to the pirate world. Was through pirate music, and just want to reiterate to everybody: if you want this music to be out there, don't be listening on Spotify. Make sure you're buying from the bands themselves. Bandcamp has a Band Friday, the first Friday every month, where all the proceeds go to the bands themselves. But whatever you're doing, make sure you're buying the music from the band so they're still making music, the music's still alive, and it keeps on going.
That's a good piece of advice because it'll go into a piece of an extra I'll throw in. That's everybody will be seeing on Facebook constant messages about stop buying from the big box stores, stop buying from the big corporations, spend your money wisely and go straight to the mom and pops. That falls right in line with what you just said. Buy
Absolutely.
from the bands. Find those websites for those bands. Find out how you can get connected with any of the bands that they play on Scoundrel Inn and Pirate Radio, and buy their CDs. Another way we look at it, keep local money local. It's very important. And with the holiday seasons coming up, I'll throw one more thing in. People do like easy gifts like boxes of cookies or handmade items. My family here keeps asking me what I want for Christmas. I don't really have anything I want. There's no desire. Now, a great CD from one of the bands that I admire, that would be a good present. I have a collection of CDs. I need a new CD player so I can play them, but collecting CDs from bands is a good thing. And then we can use those CDs with the proper permission as background music to our Pirate Festival and advertise for those bands also. So you're spot on, Jack. Absolutely right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I say thank you to our guests for being on the show. We appreciate it. We went to an hour and a half. I always like it when we go over an hour. It means that we have a good show. If it's just me and Davey, we do less than an hour and nobody wants to sit and watch us anyway. So thank you to Parlay 8. Thank you to Minstrel Raven. Thank you to my son, my brother, Michigan Pirates up there, Corey, and anybody else I may have missed. Do send me information if you want to be a part of the show. And Davey, how do we sign off?
Oh, yes, our sign off.
All right. Davey was falling asleep there.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew, always. We can't do it without you. Well, we could, but it's just not as much fun. So join us, follow us, and subscribe to us. There's our email at the bottom. And it was a pleasure to have you on the show, Mr. Gonzo. We thank you very much.
Pleasure's mine. And now it's time for me to go do my show.
Go do your show and have fun. And we'll talk to everybody later. Signing off.
Night, everybody.
Time of history's embrace, Captain's quarters.